Virgos! Welcome and welcome back to the Honey Sea Star Tarot, and welcome to the weekend of March 7th through the 8th. So, this weekend holds a sacred synchronicity in the waters, like a tide that is turning beneath a moonlit ocean. And it's a tide that's turning under the undercurrents, or in the undercurrents, and the undercurrents themselves are completely changing directions for you. This weekend, there are three very powerful movements that are activating, and they just so happen to be activating in your 3rd house, your 7th house, your 8th house, and your 11th house. So these are the realms of communication, partnerships, intimacy, and community. And you are standing at the center of it all. We have a cosmic Mercury Cazimi. I'm just saying, this is our ruler. You're going to feel this energy. So we've got Mercury Retrograde at the same time, and it just so happens to be sitting in the heart of the sun. They are in Pisces, like a messenger entering the throne room in the divine truth that you're meant to receive through all the reflection. Also, too, we all happen to have a rare and deeply emotional Grand Water Trine that is forming, and it is flowing between Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancer, connecting your voice, your relationships, and your future dreams. And that's not all. We also happen to have a very spellbinding Venus-Neptune conjunction that wraps love, imagination, desire, and dreams all together in silk that's being hand-dyed, no less, in a shibori binding and stitching kind of mastery. And because Neptune and Saturn have been traveling relatively together, right? Venus just so happens to also conjunct Saturn this weekend too. And when you think about the grand scale of these two, Saturn and Neptune have been anchoring your dreams into reality. Now they meet your heart's desires this weekend. So before we get us started and get into this, because it is very powerful this weekend, I just want to truly thank each and every one of you, all your love and support, all your patience with me. Oh my goodness, your comments, your love, I feel it. I am so grateful and have so much gratitude for each and every one of you guys, because each and every one of you make a difference with this channel growing, with this family truly being a family. And I love you back. So let's get into it, because this is a weekend where messages arrive through intuition, fate, and synchronicities. And we've got Mercury Retrograde. So yes, I am probably going to be tongue-tied. But with Mercury Retrograde on the table, this is also where old conversations return like echoes in a canyon, right? But this time they're asking to be heard differently. And this is also a weekend where love feels mythic, it feels karmic, it feels fated, and comfortingly poetic, because we have the North Node entangling with the Mercury Cazimi. And because you're at the center of this, anchoring these tides, right, as they roll in, as they ebb, as they flow, the universe is orchestrating a story about who you trust, who you speak truth with, who walks beside you, who feels like home, and who you become when your heart finally stops holding back. So, right away with the cosmos, this is where Spirit is saying, this is the time to listen to your inner voice. Listen to what it's been asking of you, because it's time to listen and it's time to act, because above all of this, we have the Pisces stellium influencing us this weekend. We also have the Aries stellium. And that Aries stellium happens to be encompassing the Venus-Neptune and Venus-Saturn conjunctions. I know. Transformation at the 1 degree of initiation, beginning, new beginnings. This is beautiful. And it's really about how you anchor your dreams when you pour your heart into it. When you truly anchor dreams that are set and live inside the heart, that began in the heart, when they're birthed in the heart. So when you open up the twists and folds of this weekend, the twists and folds of that silk after the dye has been set, the dye has been rinsed, and you see all the beautiful textile that shibori wrap created, right? You'll see the textile of the stars reflecting back at you in a way that transcends your perspective from why is this happening to me, from life happens for me, to truly life flows through me. And this is the weekend where we truly get to be opened up, cracked open in a way that we truly start listening and seeing that magic of the universe. And if that resonates, let me know. Share your thoughts. Put a heart in the comments below, because this weekend and at the bottom of the deck. What? Yeah, we'll talk about this. Right away. Okay, sorry, I got distracted. Starting off this weekend on March 7th, Saturday, something rare and something sacred is truly aligning. So our ruler, Mercury Retrograde, oh my goodness, entering the heart of the sun, and they are forming our first out of 3 Cazimis that are happening here in March. Just so happens that they are also happening in the dreamy realm of Pisces. This is not only our opposite sign, this is where it's like, it's the gift of delusionment. It's seeing through, it's having visions, but also too, formulating that pragmatic plan, taking those foggy goggles off and throwing them to the side and seeing things exactly as they are when it comes to anchoring those dreams to reality and pouring your heart into them. And these two, this Mercury Cazimi is also aligning at 16 degrees. New beginnings, harmony of new beginnings, aligned with spirituality. So if you imagine Mercury as a traveler who's been wandering through fog, right? He's retracing his steps, he's revisiting old conversations and rereading emotional letters from the past because it's Pisces, it's watery, it's got all that emotion involved. All of a sudden, in one brief moment, he steps out of the fog and steps directly into the throne of the sun. And the messenger meets the source of his passions, the source of his purpose, and the source of the meaning that he's been truly seeking after he's been wandering around. So suddenly, the fog that's only let him see like 10 steps ahead is clearing. While we're in Mercury retrograde, no less. This is gorgeous. And this is happening in our 7th house of partnerships, where the North Node has been pushing us and pushing our ascension forward through connection. So this is not a random placement. And with the North Node here, it's very much entangled with your fate. So clarity arrives, particularly through reflection, and it comes through the warmth of your partnerships. It comes through the mirrors that you see in your partnerships. And it comes through the mirrors of the people who you come into contact with through that North Node entanglement today, on Saturday. And these guys are reflecting your soul healing, your soul's greatness, and your soul's journey back to you. So this is where right away with the Knight of Cups, you are searching, right? This is that journey, looking at all the shadows, looking through the shadows as well, feeling your way through it with your intuition to truly get back into balance, back into your remembrance, back into harmony, using your sensitivity to guide you the whole way through. And it has a lot to do with following and trusting your intuition, trusting yourself when it's aligned with the universe, with your mind, body, and soul, but also aligning your passions, your inspirations to guide you rather than let fear guide you. So it's kind of like if you've been trying to read a letter that fell into the ocean where the ink has been blurred, right? The paper is fragile, it's wrinkled. The more you touch it, the more it tries to fall apart. And you're like, no, don't do that. This is the moment where the sun holds the letter up to the light, right? And all of a sudden you see these hidden words that start glowing through the page. And because Mercury Cazimi holds the presence, this one I should say in particular, holds the presence of the North Node, the glowing message that's unveiled holds your fated clarity. Has a lot to do with your foundations, has a lot to do with Jupiter's blessing, because Jupiter is here and present this weekend, has a lot to do with where you regain your balance, your footing, your foundations. Also, too, where you've been recovering, needing to heal, what you need to see, how you need to recuperate, how you need to reposition yourself, how you need to truly get seen, be seen, put yourself out there in that heart of the sun. This is where your 9 of Pentacles and your 3 of Wands are both waiting for you. This is beautiful because it's Venus's blessings being grounded in with the Virgo energy through pragmatic planning, inner peace, standing in your independence as well as standing in your presence of confidence, reaching for your success, your material comforts, your prosperity, and most importantly, enjoying the journey, right? Because you're following your heart. You're truly achieving your goals that have been born within the heart. And this is integrating all those lessons that you've healed from, right? Because that's the story that your soul signed up for, but more importantly, it's your story. No one else has the experience that you do. And we all benefit from the gift that you share when you allow this to be seen by sharing that story. And this is being one step away from that success. right? Especially with the North Node, I cannot stress this enough. Saturday is going to feel very fated, particularly when it comes to your conversations. So what I mean by that is you may be finding that you're having a conversation, a realization, or even an emotional understanding. And it's going to feel like the universe is whispering to you, this is why this person crossed your path. This is what you were meant to learn. This is what you were meant to feel. This is what you were meant to transcend. And then once you got there, once you rose above it all, this is what you were meant to share. Because through all of those aspects, all of those hardships, that transcendence is the true lesson, the true prosperity, or it holds the true prosperity that each and every one of us are meant to transcend into, are meant to share with the world. It's our true gift because it's our true experience. So this could manifest in a way where you could be having a profound conversation with a partner. It could be a realization about someone from your past. We got Mercury in retrograde. I'm just going to say it. Could be a past dream as well. Jupiter is in retrograde. It's in your 11th house. That's your long-term dreams, your community, your contribution. Also, too, it could be a moment of truth that you see about a past relationship, how it's made you stronger, how seeing and learning those lessons, as uncomfortable, painful, whatever as they were, truly made you the beautiful being that you are now. And it may even illuminate and purify a sudden understanding of a pattern that you've carried for years. So this is bringing everything into a synthesis, a dynamic balance, but also a synergy that leads you and propels you towards growth in your expression, and where you take action with that Aries energy of new beginnings and transformation with the Venus and Neptune conjunction, and then also the Venus and Saturn conjunction. And Source, Soul's Temple, is giving you all the vitality to pour your heart into it. And again, this is about being committed to completion, exploring new territories, not letting fear drive the discernment and the decisions, seeking cooperation as well, because we've got our third house involved and activated this weekend. That's how you communicate. That's how you brand yourself, how you show up in the world, put yourself out there, and how you co-collaborate, co-manifest in a way with synergy and synchronicities. So this is kind of a beautiful energy, no pressure, but Mercury retrograde in general often brings on the return of unfinished emotional chapters, right? So expect the uncomfortability that can bring. But remember, that's what ignites your power, your core, which is truly your solar plexus. And remember, your solar plexus is truly where your confidence lies. It's also the jewel. It's where your money frequency comes into play. It's being confident, holding your presence, knowing that you're enough, and most importantly, that you always have been, that you always will be. And you are strong and capable enough to not only transcend, but to become inspiration and action as you transcend for everyone and for your future. So where Mercury retrograde often in general brings up these unfinished emotional chapters, the Cazimis offer us divine clarity about why they returned in the first place. And it's all to really help us grow and more importantly, to ground our comprehension of the lessons that they were meant to help us learn. So in these rare alignments like this, because it's not often that we have retrogrades get purified by the sun, this is an opportunity truly where the universe replays a conversation for us so that we can hear what we couldn't hear before. And the reason why we couldn't hear it, the reason why we couldn't understand it, was because we didn't have the ability to truly see it, because we were in the thick of it, right? We were still in this reactive aspect because we were going through it. Now, with the Cazimi on like the interplay of the retrograde, with the wisdom of the retrograde, it illuminates at the bottom of the deck all of the new ideas, the new information that we receive as we step back and truly zoom out without our emotions dragging us back in. So this is where it has a lot to do with, I'm just going to say it, with the Emperor coming out in reverse. Could have been where you've experienced poor leadership, controlling behavior, where you felt the need to control the outcomes as well. And instead, this is about offering the lesson of surrender. Especially too, it could have been where you've experienced a misuse of power, really standing up against a rock in a hard place, experienced chaos where you just didn't have a pragmatic plan. Could have been also people that you were dealing with, like a masculine or someone that was in their masculine energy that truly wanted to misuse power or misunderstood power, and it led to poor leadership, right? But you couldn't voice. The fact that this Cazimi is aligned at 16 degrees in Pisces, no less. It holds the power of this new clarity being received that harmonizes our energy and rebalances our awareness through spiritual awakening, as well as divine insight, inner wisdom, and the surrender to mystical understanding. So in astrology, 16 degrees often represents a lightning bolt of awareness, right? And as you can see, this is where you're taking action towards new beginnings with mental clarity, towards your vision, making good choices, standing and finding your truth, voicing your truth, because that's your true story. And that's what leads to success. And as you can see, the lightning is shining around where your confidence, your presence is, with where you take action with this sword. It is your crown that you are meant to wear. So with this kind of bolt of awareness, 16 degrees basically has the ability, or the spirit in astrological terms, it gives you this lightning bolt of awareness where illusion cracks open. And it does so in a way that allows the truth to truly shine through. And in Pisces, this awareness comes through your intuition rather than your analysis. So, whatever you feel in this moment of clarity on Saturday, the universe is truly urging you to trust the feeling and to listen to your heart, because that's where your true strength lies. That's where your true potential and your unlimited potential with the 8, your strength, is truly where it's born, I should say, in that way. So this is the kind of energy where it's time to trust the feeling. Listen to your heart, because you possess all the inner strength to succeed, all the courage, all the self-empowerment, all the healing, and the microbial with tea tree oil, right? If there was a presence that was really trying to create this like mildew, moldy kind of aspect in your, or stagnancy in your energy, this is where you set yourself free. Your willpower is set free in your presence, and you lead with love. Your heart's desires leading the way. Venus is here this weekend. This is where, with the Page of Cups energy, it's new information that's coming to you, but it fills you with new insights, with news that reignites your creativity, that reignites this type of wonder within you, that lets you pursue and anchor your dreams with that youthful, courageous kind of energy. Before you had someone trying to tell you, I can't, this is that I can, I am kind of energy. And if that resonates, let me know, share your thoughts, put a heart, because at the same time, we are also entering one of the most mystical alignments of the weekend. So on Saturday, Venus meets Neptune in Aries in our 8th house. And Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, right? These two are in conjunction at 1 degree. This is beautiful. This is not an ordinary conjunction. This is the moment where love meets the ocean of imagination at the 1st degree of Aries, at the first point of action, new beginnings, initiation, in your 8th house of transformation, intimacy, trust, and soul level bonding. So this is truly romantic cinema kind of energy. And just to kind of exaggerate on it a little bit, because it is going to ignite this within you. It's going to ignite these feelings, especially with the North Node being present as well with the Cazimi. This is the kind of energy where it's like there's two star-crossed lovers that walk into a room, or one sitting down and another one walks through the door, and they both lock eyes across the room, and all of a sudden time slows. And then from out of nowhere, from somewhere, a violinist quietly appears from the back of the room playing like this sweet romantic Italian waltz. And you're like, okay. And then Neptune turns down the lights. You look back and the lights are all dimmed, but all of a sudden there's candles on the table and every single one of them have been lit. And then all of a sudden you look up and there's a disco ball that's turning. And then there's this fog machine that's gently like putting this gentle mist in the air. And all of this is going on in this like dreamy, romantic kind of way. that feels like it's own little mystical universe with twinkling stars overhead. This is that kind of energy with Venus and with Neptune, both being in Aries, both being in your 8th house. So with the 8th house governing intimacy, emotional vulnerability, shared resources, deep soul bonds, and transformation, this is where we learn the language of love in a very profound way, in how we merge ourselves with others, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. So you may feel magnetically or inexplicably drawn to someone this weekend, particularly with this conjunction. And it'll be a connection that feels fated, mysterious, spiritual, even intoxicating, all at the same time. This is the type of connection where vulnerability becomes the key that opens a hidden door. So trust the feeling, listen to your heart. I will also say too, Neptune being the guardian of, he breaks down disillusionment. So he's also going to be reminding us during this time with this conjunction that not everything that glitters in moonlight is truly solid gold. And sometimes the ocean reflects the stars that are actually millions of miles away. With this conjunction occurring at 1 degree in Aries, this is a new beginning of the transformation of love within you. And it sparks initiation. It sparks courage. It also sparks leadership through a profound emotional bond. It can even spark all of this through a rekindled flame or a creative awakening, because we're anchoring dreams into reality, right? Or even too through a spiritual opening that also asks you at the same time, is this love grounded in truth or is it floating in fantasy? Whatever that means to you. Because right away what we pulled is the Empress and the King of Pentacles, right? This is about pouring your heart, the seeds that you sow, pouring your heart into all the fertility, being blessed by Venus, and then how it's rooted into your reality and how your heart really is shaping your foundation, how your inner divine humanity is really being grounded into your everyday actions, into your everyday movement. So the King of Pentacles, this is dependable energy. This is the provider, the businesswoman or man, the material success, financial management, but it's got an emphasis on security when it comes to love. And that includes, like I say, it could be a spiritual awakening, could be healing soul traumas, deep-rooted traumas as well. Could be, since love is entangled with this, where those walls have been built because of past trespasses that have caused isolation and really brought you further away from your connections. Because remember, with the North Node, we are transcending through our connections. And this is where I will say it again, the ocean reflects stars that are actually millions of miles away. We're breaking down the disillusionment of what those walls are. Is this love grounded in truth or is it floating in fantasy? So, if you meet someone where you feel like you're standing at the edge of an ocean, at sunrise where the water looks endless and the sky looks infinite, and for a moment you can't tell where the sea ends and the sky begins, your lesson with this Venus-Neptune conjunction is not to reject the dream. It's to keep one foot on the shore while your heart swims in the sea. And this is where your love, your creativity, your fertility, your success, again, it's about like building material wealth and then also how you manage it. Letting your beauty shine, but also too, remaining steady and fast, remaining true, dependable, and coming back to the center. Because as your heart swims, the moon in Scorpio in your 3rd house will also happen to form a very harmonious trine with Mars. And Mars is in Pisces in your 7th house of partnerships as well, right along with the North Node, right along with the Mercury Retrograde, and right along with the Sun and the Mercury Cazimi. So this is where, if earlier alignments with the Cazimi, with the Neptune-Venus trine conjunction, kind of felt like if they were the story, right, or the storyline, The trine between the moon and Mars is the emotional engine behind this storyline. So the Scorpio moons, just in general, especially with Virgos having them revolve in our third house, which is again our communication, our brand, how we put ourselves out there. Scorpio moons are emotional archaeologists that dive deep into the waters of emotion and conversation. How we put our emotions out there for the world to see. In this trine, this has given your heart the snorkel and the flippers to do just that, as your heart is swimming in the ocean and you keep one foot on the shoreline. So Scorpio moons look for hidden truths beneath the silence, right? It's what you didn't say, it's what you felt. That's your true foundation. And this is going to feel in a lot of ways with Mars, because Mars basically in Pisces, he has this beautiful energy behind him. He acts like this compassionate warrior, but it's someone that doesn't fight with swords. They fight with empathy. And so you're truly able to look at your enemy, see what you're fighting, what you're up against, right? That rock in a hard place, and look at why it's there. You're able to look at those walls that you've built and really understand and hold compassion for why they were built in the first place, right? Both of them give you this harmony. And again, we got the Queen of Pentacles, and it's got nostalgia coming back from the past, or coming in from the past through reflection. And then also too, how you fight for your goals, how you stand your ground, and where your judgment had previously been blocked, manipulated due to holding on to the past, right? Either through resentment, grief, loss, mourning, regret. So this is where you're holding empathy, you're holding compassion for why those walls were built, why your judgment was follied, right? And you're coming back to the table. You're making sense of all of it. You're nurturing yourself. You're nurturing those, like why those walls were there. And as you take them down brick by brick to let the future in, both of these energies are giving you this harmony of emotional courage to truly say what needs to be said. To be brave enough to confess your feelings, to say something completely vulnerable, to express a hidden truth, and to defend someone that you love when it truly matters most, or the dream that you love when it truly matters most. It's like standing at the edge of a deep lake, right? And realizing that the water was never there to drown you. It was never meant to drown you. It's not trying to drown you. It's there to teach you how to swim. And to realize how naturally, more importantly, buoyant you are when you align yourself in the right way. And that's aligning yourself with practicality, focusing on security, making sure that your foundation is built with trust, that when you generate wealth and success, you nurture it sensibly, right? You hold it with some TLC. And that includes standing your ground for your dreams, for love, listening to your heart, trusting your intuition, and finding a nostalgia with the past and past events where truly these emotional cups were not meant to be spilled. And while they were even, there's still one cup here that's been preserved, that's been cherished, that's been coveted. And more importantly, how these spilled cups helped bring you into this position where you were able to defend, you were able to persevere, you were able to rise to the challenge of confrontation. This is that kind of empowerment and like energy. And it's holding it all with the leadership that is led with compassion and empathy. This is emotional courage. So I will also say through all of this, the sky is not necessarily letting things stay completely comfortable with the past either. While you're having the courage to say what needs to be said, being brave enough to confess those feelings, express that vulnerable truth that maybe has even been suppressed, or a hidden truth that hasn't been voiced. We also happen to have a very powerful situation going on. So just remember, we do not learn, transform, or transcend in the falsehoods through the falsehoods of fear without getting out of our comfort zone. And what I mean by that is that the Scorpio moon will also happen to square Pluto. So Pluto is in Aquarius, In our sixth house, which is luckily our wheelhouse, right? That is our house of purpose. That is our house of daily rhythms. How we manage our stress, our work, our routines, our health. This square, which remember squares are tension, but they're meant to liberate you. And in Aquarius energy is very innovative. It's future forward thinking. And again, if you zoom out, we've got our heart's desires in a very transformational place in Aries, in our initiation, our first sign of the zodiac, being conjunct with Neptune, which is our dreams, and Saturn, with how they're anchored this weekend. And that's on Sunday. Stay tuned. We'll get into it. But before we get there, with this square between the moon and Pluto, activating our third house and our communication and our sixth house of work, it's truly looking at your daily habits and your mental patterns. And just remember, Pluto never whispers, Pluto transforms. And look at what he's doing. He's saying, okay, here's your new start. Here's your unlimited potential. Here's where you've been holding on to way too much, right? Where it's been an overload, where you've been trying too hard, where you've been taking on excessive responsibility. But as you can see, it's a new beginning. And we've got 2 zeros here as well. This is where the wheel always spins in your favor. Destiny always changes. And the first action of initiation determines your future. And it all comes from you. It all stems from you. And Pluto's helping you transform exactly that. So this is the moment when the universe gently but firmly slides a mirror across the table to you and lets you see where you've been holding on to a buried resentment, a power dynamic in your daily life, a habit of overthinking relationships, or even an emotional pressure that you've been ignoring that's led you toward a tendency to control or try to control outcomes, where you've been taking on too much, right? Saturn is here. Sagittarius energy is here with your truth, trying to shine through so that your dreams can be blessed with that Piscean energy, exalting Jupiter here. This is coming to completion and setting those burdens down, because you're not meant to carry them. You're meant to transcend them. And if that resonates, let me know. Share your thoughts. Put a heart in the comments below, because this pressure is what allows a truth to truly rise to the surface like oil and water, naturally, without friction, so that you can skim it off the top, right? Skim it off the top of your heart, skim it off the top of your energy field, and take those walls down brick by brick. And it's meant to help you see where your soul has been asking for transformation when it comes to love. It asks you, what if your mind isn't meant to control love, but instead evolve through it, right? And the transformation, as hard as it is, truly becomes simple once you just surrender, right? Once you just let go of the pattern and just allow yourself to flow upward, just like the oil rises naturally in water. And with all this going on, it's leading you to your 9 of Cups, right? This is where Spirit, the universe, is saying, follow the fool's journey, but make sure that you travel lightly, because wishes do come true. You're meant to achieve abundance, happiness, enjoyment, especially in the journey of it, in all the lessons you're meant to learn. And especially with the Page of Pentacles coming in reverse, it's also telling you to pay attention, right? Pay attention to where you're being overly materialistic, where you've been irresponsible with money, where immaturity is there or present too, what you need to learn along the way to truly transcend. Get those tools in your tool belt, because those are what help you with making wise decisions rather than irresponsible ones. This is where, with all of this going on Saturday, it's going to feel truly like there is a page turning in your relationship chapter. And it's a page turning where clarity arrives through conversation, vulnerability deepens through connection, and emotional honesty, true emotional honesty, leads to true transformation. And here's where things get extraordinary. Because between Saturday and Sunday, I know I've been hinting at this, we just so happen to have a very powerful situation happening. We have a powerful Grand Water Trine that is forming, and it is not just forming between 3 planets. We've got a lot of things that are interconnected. It is connecting between the moon, which is in Scorpio in your 3rd house, and it's connecting the moon to the sun, Mercury retrograde, and Mars, and the North Node in Pisces in your 7th house. And they're all being connected to Jupiter retrograde in Cancer in your 11th house. This is a cosmic river system where 3 waters truly meet. This is a blessing. And at the bottom of the deck, what they're unveiling is where your hard work is leading you, and it's meant to be rewarded because you're sitting as the King of Pentacles. Oh my gosh. Yeah, let's look at this. What it's revealing with this alignment is true material comfort, financial gain, the community, the soul tribe family that you're meant to walk with into your future, the right people being aligned at the right time, where you are always where you're meant to be, right? At the right time with who you're meant to be with. And that includes what you transcend, because that's what shaped you into the beautiful person that you are when you let life live through you. So water trines in general create emotional harmony, right? They create this intuitive flow, the spiritual healing. And for Virgos, with this Grand Water Trine connecting your 3rd house of communication, your 7th house of partnerships, and your 11th house of friendships, future visions, the universe is weaving this bridge between your voice, your relationships, and your dreams for the future. And look at where this is coming in. I mean, this is where it's like it's saying your hard work is being rewarded. Work towards your goals will be paid off. Will pay off. Look at the rewards, the financial gains. In the middle, achieving successive long-term goals. Success, wealth, prosperity, dedication, stability. But it's going to take hard work. And it's your hard work is what's going to be rewarded. So where have the illusions been diverting your focus? Where has the past been stagnating your flow? These 3 rivers are quietly merging into this like deep sacred lake where nothing explodes, nothing crashes, but everything flows with ease, and they all flow into one eternal source within you. All of your energy flows into where it focused. And as you can see, you're in the middle as the King of Pentacles, standing in a masculine energy, but also too, holding on to achieving those long-term goals. But again, I will say it with the sandwich between the 7 of coins, and the 10 of coins. It takes your work, your action. And I will also say we've got this Aries stellium happening here. I cannot stress that enough. So where water trines are creating this beautiful harmony, let's just kind of talk about it in a little bit of depth. So the moon in Scorpio in your 3rd house, this is the whisper that knows the truth, right? And it's asking you, why did that comment linger in your heart, right? Why does this person matter to you so much? What truth have you been editing before sending it? Pisces energy in the 7th house provides this mirror for the soul, where the sun shines a spotlight on your partnerships. Mercury retrograde revisits conversations, memories, unfinished emotional sentences. And Mars offers you the courage to speak from the heart, to say the thing that really needs to be said, right? And Jupiter retrograde in Cancer, exalted in Cancer no less, in your 11th house. This is your house of long-term dreams, community, humanitarian efforts. Jupiter retrograde in Cancer in your 11th house is like this wise old light keeper, or lighthouse keeper, I should say. And he's standing on this distant shoreline, and he's holding the lantern up high. And he's standing next to you as he whispers, your future is being built through the people who truly see you. And because Mercury and Jupiter are both in retrograde, this Grand Trine is about rediscovering emotional wisdom that you once overlooked. And it's kind of like finding an old map in a drawer, maybe even a little dusty too if you've forgotten about it. Look within, it's there, and it's unlocked with this Grand Trine. And this map in that drawer is the map that actually leads you exactly to where you're trying to go. And if you just got goosebumps like I did, let me know. Put a heart in the comments below, because as you can see, this is truly about victory, celebration, proper support, chosen family, sincere allies, where unity is strength, where community lifts each other up, where compassion leads the way. Mercury's here giving you the downloads. It's a Cazimi. It's a synergy. It's bringing voice with that Scorpio moon. And more importantly, I will say it again, Jupiter is here telling you, your future is being built through the people who truly see you. Going away from norms, but more importantly, moving you away from people that are teaching you the lessons of discernment, right? Where betrayal's been present, where deception has been present, where there's been scheming, ulterior motives, fibs, misrepresentation, a disregard of emotion, compassion, and leadership as well, where things have been done in the shadows. Aquarian energy is illuminating all of it with spirituality being present. And as you can see with the 3 and 7, this goes down again to the pinnacle of success with 10. Starting a new beginning, moving you away from the 7 of Swords energy that has dimmed your solar plexus, made you feel like your power is being taken away from you. Voicing that and really truly recognizing the story and the lesson behind it all. Because through understanding where you felt this way, where your power has been taken, where your confidence has been basically overshadowed, right? Or kind of knocked down. The thing about success is we're all going to get knocked down. That is the lesson of Earth, right? That is the lesson of life. It's how and when you get back up, how you transcend, that truly brings you into greatness. And if that resonates, let me know, because on Sunday is this day where the universe places this warm cup of echinacea tea. It's healing, and he's placing it in your hands as you stand in front of this map that you pulled out of that drawer that you shook the dust off, and he says, sit down for a moment, because something important is about to make sense. With the sky being full of these water trines, right? Water trines, this is like that smooth, intuitive current that is flowing through you. And all of these currents are helping you understand the emotions and the quiet wisdom that's going to awaken within you with this as you transcend. And this is truly the point with that echinacea tea in your hand, where you truly transcend into the realization that life is not happening to you. It's not the, why is this happening to me? And it's not necessarily even happening for you, though you are always being supported. But the epiphany is truly the understanding that life is flowing through you. And that includes you being a participant, you holding and having the presence, you being the architect, you calling back your power. So Sunday is a day of transcendence, where the epiphany of Rumi's quote, you're not a drop in the ocean, but you are the entire ocean in a drop, that truly begins to hold resonance for you. And when you do, if you remember and you're so, feel inclined, come back to this reading, share your thoughts on what suddenly sparks within you. Because with the moon being in Scorpio in your 3rd house, suddenly on Sunday, with all this Grand Trine coming into alignment, you'll be reading between the lines. You'll be hearing the words and the truth of the universe that truly carries soul, right? And the insights that will flow to you are flowing to you in a way that is not going to be boxed in or limited by the articulation of human language. So, this is the time to be open to receive. And it just so happens that the moon will be forming a trine to Jupiter retrograde and Mercury retrograde at the same time. So we're seeing through the undercurrents of reflection when it comes to our long-held dreams, truly finding our contribution and our place in the world, how we read between the lines in our connections about the past, where those walls have been built based on trauma, and where we need to tear them down to reconnect to our future, because the future flows through and is being built through the people that truly see you. Just had to say that again. So, the trine between the moon and Jupiter is an aspect that opens the heart in a way where if the moon is your emotional voice, Jupiter is the wise storyteller who reminds you that your story is bigger than this moment. And it's bigger than that past moment. And this is where you get to truly get some emotional insights and call judgment and transform, with Pluto being present here. So, with this all going on, The way that I would put it is like Jupiter is doing this, like beautiful storytelling, this wise aspect. He's coming in with this trine with the moon. And he's coming in a way where he's that old friend that's going to sit beside you on a porch swing, right? As you're watching the sunset, as you're looking over the water, where the sunrise or the sun and the water kind of like meet together in the middle and they lose their depth, or they just seamlessly come together. He doesn't rush you. He doesn't judge you. He swings with you. And he simply says something at exactly the right moment that makes your shoulders relax, especially as you look back in this reflection period of Mercury and also with Jupiter. So you may be receiving the emotional support or reassurance from a friend that you need at exactly the right moment on Sunday. You may even be that friend for someone else who needs you in that very same way. You may be reconnecting with someone meaningful in your life that truly played a loving role for you. You may receive insights about your place in a community, your contribution, and you may also gain a renewed belief in a long-held dream, in a long-term dream with this harmonious energy. And as you can see, I mean, it's like the Knight of Swords come in. This is where it's like, as you reflect on where there's been conflict, where you've been led through reactionary impulses, right? Or taken action through reactionary impulses. Where there's even been excessive enthusiasm without pragmatic planning. Where you've unfortunately seen that excessive enthusiasm lead to reckless action or imprudence. Where you've come into contact with hostility or extremists. This is bringing things back to the center when it comes to your structure, when it comes to your foundation with this Capricorn energy, and how you build it, how you think outside the box with that Aquarian energy, with your innovation. What comes to mind really in a lot of ways, say if you're like building a home or buying your first home, or you really want to get out of the renting and you want to get into home owning, and your bank's saying you don't have enough, the housing market is saying you don't have enough. You look at just as if you're in the U.S., you're looking at the resourcing or the resources and how tariffs have catapulted prices, and you're saying, oh my goodness, monetarily, finance-wise, structure-wise, I do not have enough to make this work. This is where you start thinking outside the box, right? And by thinking outside the box, by looking at the future, same thing with building your dreams, how you're leveraging them, how you're putting yourself out there, how you're building that foundation and creating systems and structures that end up working for themselves, right? That leave room to grow. This is where you start heading towards victory. You start working towards that advancement. You start seeing and experiencing significant progress, start achieving your goals, receiving good news. And it's because of your presence and your confidence, right? This is getting validation from within and seeing it manifest without. Experiencing respect, holding respect for your dreams, for yourself, for your connections, for being at the right place at the right time, thinking outside the box, being that supportive character or receiving that emotional support as well at the exact right time when you let life flow through you. And you start marching towards your victory. You start being crowned with success, blessed by Jupiter, because you're letting your inner divine humanity shine and lead the way. And if that resonates, let me know, because this is a renewed belief. It's an expansion of belief, and it's bringing everything into harmony. So whatever these two bring into your life, you'll be filled with this intuitive understanding that these are the people who truly understand you. And you're right where you need to be, with who you're meant to be with at exactly the right time. And with Mercury also being retrograde and also being trine with the Scorpio moon, communication becomes deeply intuitive for you. Especially under this Grand Water Trine, it's going to be amplified. This is where not only are conversations filled with deeper meaning, but they're filled with meaningful connection. You might find that you're finishing each other's sentences, or you're understanding what each other are trying to convey without explaining it to the other. This trine creates this like safe space to speak honestly without fear of being misunderstood, without fear getting in the way, and trying to stop your emotions from flowing into words. And it's like discovering that someone can understand your heart without needing the footnotes, and it connects you through heart telepathy. And I know we're not done yet. The sun happens to be not only in Pisces, part of the Piscean stellium, attached to Mercury Cazimi and the North Node, and it just so happens to also be trine with the Scorpio moon on Sunday. And this is one of the most harmonious alignments possible between your inner world and your outer self. So when you're going to be manifesting, taking action, calling judgment, utilizing discernment, moving forward in your future, truly leaving something in the past, coming to terms with what it was meant to teach you, and letting life live through you. This is where manifestation happens with this trine. So the sun represents your conscious self. The moon represents your emotional self. We need both when it comes to our life, what we construct in our outer world. And when they trine like this, there's a complete holistic inner alignment where your heart and your identity are both working together in a very profound sense of emotional coherence. So if you imagine, this is like emotional innocence focused with dreams, igniting your imagination, right? Your creativity, especially when it comes to your innovation, building your structures, being blessed and being open to receiving your blessings, standing in your truth, knowing that these shadows are what shaped your story and what you're meant to share, the true transcendence that you're meant to give this world. And that is your justice. That is your transformation. When it comes to Sagittarian energy, Scorpio energy, Libran energy, Pluto, Jupiter, Leo, Capricorn, and Aquarius energy. This is beautiful. So if you imagine your heart and your mind sitting across from each other at a cafe, they're getting, I don't know, some chai lattes or something, some mochas. Usually, I'll be really honest, between the mind and the heart, usually they're a bit bickery, right? They argue. This is their relationship. That is what it happens. And this happens within each and every one of us. So you're not alone, right? You are not any different or isolated in this. But this is where your mind says, wait a minute, let's think this through. And your heart at the same time is coming back and saying, I already know the answer. Let's not overthink it and let doubt cloud our judgment. Just saying. But on this day, with the sun and the moon being trine like this, with this grand trine no less, with the moon being trine with Jupiter retrograde and Mercury retrograde as well, all at the same time, this is where all of a sudden these two, where they normally would bicker, on this day something magical truly is happening. The internal noise is going to quiet. So what you feel, what you think, and what you say finally all move in the same direction. And your soul sighs in this comedic relief and says, finally. I'm so glad we're able to all get along the way we were meant to. I was getting a little worried there for a moment. No pressure, but this is your day. This is our day. Take advantage of this. And just as all this is happening, bringing you into alignment, it just so happens that Venus, where she was conjunct with Neptune on Saturday, now on Sunday, she is forming another conjunction and brings Saturn into the conversation of intimacy. She brings Saturn into the conversation of vulnerability and emotional trust. So, if Venus and Neptune were a dream, Venus and Saturn are the foundation beneath the dream. And this is where you're anchoring those dreams into reality, and your heart is present, pouring her, like she's wrapping your dreams in that shibori silk. Those textiles are made, meant, designed, built for you. So, with Venus's and Saturn's conjunction, these two are meeting at the very first degree of Aries in your 8th house. And if the earlier alignments felt poetic, this one is going to feel serious in a very beautiful way. Just like, this is kind of a bit of an exaggeration, so humor me on this one, but like, I'm a romantic, but it may feel just like, say, like if you were out at that cafe, right? And all of a sudden you met someone Visiting your area on vacation. Remember, we had that cinematic meeting with Neptune. It's like you walk in the door, he's sitting at, or he or she is sitting at the counter or at the bar area, even though it's a cafe. Either way, like all of a sudden, like time slows. The music starts playing. We've got a maestro in the background, right? We've got a disco ball kind of twirling up, like up on the skyline. This is where Saturn also then comes in. And where the earlier alignment felt poetic, now we've got someone who's coming in, visiting our area on vacation. We've fallen head over heels for them. And this, like when you're getting to know each other, when you're truly realizing like, oh my goodness, I feel like I see my future in this person, but I've only met you for 10, 20 minutes so far. I feel like maybe this is inexplicable. And when you ask them, have you been considering like relocating to this area? Because they're telling you how much they love it, how much they love visiting it. They're going to come back, how much it feels like home. Then all of a sudden they come back with an answer of, well, I'd certainly move here because you're here. And I'd like to be closer to you. If love was that moment, this conjunction is that love story. And if love was the house that you two end up buying together, Venus in Aries in the 8th house decorates it with candles. She puts the music on. She's painting soft colors. Her design aesthetic is nice and soft and soothing. She's dressed in her shibori wrap silk, and she's feeling just as beautiful as she looks, right? And then Saturn comes home. He's wearing his work boots. He's glistening with a little bit of sweat from working in the heat of the day. And he comes in and he says, hey, beautiful, it looks as good as you in here. Let's make sure this foundation is strong, sustainable, and built to last, because I like what I'm seeing here. I like what I'm feeling here. And this is the moment where emotional commitments deepen because trust becomes the focus. Boundaries become healthier and clearer because serious conversations about commitment take place without fear and with honesty leading the charge. You could be really talking about your vision for the future to see if you two are in alignment, or how you can make the pieces of your lives truly fall into place and fit into place together. And that includes discussing financial plans, debts, building lasting wealth for the long haul, and to embracing a new beginning that taps into unlimited potential, right? This is where you're basically you're looking at all the dreams, right? You're following your intuition. But we also have Neptune here, grounding you two with Saturn away from any type of delusionment. So this is like a beautiful poetic relationship, but it's built on very pragmatic aspects. And under this conjunction, in this moment, if the bond is truly authentic, Saturn turns it into something durable and enduring. This conjunction defines the difference between infatuation and something real as it asks the powerful question, are you ready for the kind of connection that grows stronger over time? And as you can see, this is where the moon is going to help you with uncover the presence of conflicts, competition, any type of friction, where disagreements have made you feel entrapped, hopeless, cornered, judged, powerless, led by fear with making your decisions and building those walls against relationships, putting your heart out there. And where the moon brings depth, Mercury brings understanding, Jupiter brings hope, Venus, Neptune, and Saturn bring this dreamy yet lasting commitment. And the sun is illuminating everything with clarity. And as this weekend carries this rare emotional alchemy of the heart, with all these water signs dominating the sky, the Grand Water Trine truly invites you to release old emotions, old emotional patterns, to truly invite you to forgive yourself, forgive others of the past, put down that weight, take that blindfold off, look at where there has been conflict in the past, chaos in the past, and more importantly, start something new. Embrace this opportunity, and I will say again, trust the feeling. Listen to your heart this weekend, because this is where we've got something very beautiful happening. This Grand Water Trine also helps you with reconnecting with people who feel like home. As you learn how to balance the head and the heart, and let life flow through you. Because water dissolves walls. Water remembers. Water shapes and forms. And water also heals. And as you stand at the edge of a quiet harbor on a sunset this weekend, friends are gathering nearby, and they're true. Someone you trust completely at a soul level comes to stand beside you. The water reflects the sky in shades of deep blue and silver, right? It kind of moves into this blurry area where it flows from one to the other seamlessly. And this is the moment of peace, that you realize that the future you've been carefully planning, wishing for, dreaming of, is already beginning to unfold around you. There's opportunity, there's change, there's creative energy, inspiration, and you're being handed the key this weekend. And as March continues to unfold, I will also add, Virgos are going to be entering a new chapter about sacred reflection in relationships and then moving from reflection to action. And with Mercury retrograde in Pisces in our 7th house, providing the opportunity to walk through this gallery of mirrors where some mirrors show you the past, some show you who you once were, how you once used to handle conflict. Some are showing you who you're becoming. Just like when you upload, and it's a true story, I just did this, and this is a true story for me. It just truly made me smile, so I want to share it with you guys. But in that mirror, where you're being showed of who you're becoming, right? Out of whatever kind of fascination, I decided, as I'm like building a vision board, really kind of looking at things down the line financially for myself as well, because I'm a Virgo, I'm going through this right with you guys. I came across an aging app. And I'm like, okay, well, what would I look like 20 years from now, 30 years from now? I'm curious, how am I going to age? And this is that kind of energy where that mirror that shows you who you're becoming, just like when you upload an app like that, or upload your photo to an aging app, when you see yourself as the version of yourself that you're meant to become and grow into, this is the weekend where you see that person, that future, and that you just might find yourself smiling, thinking like, oh my goodness, I'm beautiful. I can't wait to become you. And true story, when I got to see my picture of like who I'm going to be, like gray-haired and wrinkled, my first thought was honestly like, oh my goodness, I love the way I'm going to age. I am so grateful for that. Like, I would, because we see all these anti-aging aspects that modern society is doing, and I'm kind of a el natural gal. Anyway, it was a prolific, like, beautiful moment for me. And if it is for you, when you see that mirror, when you truly see that reflection, and seeing who you're becoming, who you're growing into, looking forward to becoming that gray-haired, white-haired, wrinkled, smiley person that's gotten to grow through your journey, let me know, because this is that time where you might just finally find yourself saying, I can't wait to become you. And this is where Spirit is saying, you are protected. You are that old soul. You are that best friend of nature. Use your intuition to take you where you want to go, and get excited, because as this weekend teaches you how to trust that the right people will meet you in truth, it also teaches you that you are meant to walk beside people who truly understand the language of your soul. And this weekend, the universe begins revealing who those people are, like stars appearing one by one in the night sky. And this is where you're going to find that you are meant to create the blessings that you are meant to gift the world with, who you're meant to create them with your magic. This is time to awaken. So, before we go, I do just want to look at our major arcana, but if you resonate with this reading, if you like the way that I read, truly, by all means, each and every one of you guys, I would help elevate these messages to the collective so that we can all grow, all rise, and more importantly, all celebrate each other on this channel, in this Honey Sea Star family. And two, I will just say all of your contributions make the difference. So please like, share, subscribe, hype, comment, share your thoughts, put a heart. Your Honey Sea Star purchases, they're meant to uplift you just as much as they're meant to help with keeping these videos going, helping with keeping this channel going, supporting my family as well at home. So please, by all means, just know that each and every way that you guys contribute I am so grateful for each and every one of you. And music frequency wise, what we pulled is the C, the E, and the F sharp, and then color frequency. I mean, look at this. This is like where there was once a red light. Now we're moving forward, we're getting the energy going, and now it's a green light from the universe. So we've got red, yellow, and green, just like a stoplight. Don't know why that came into my head there, but either way, I hope you guys have a beautiful weekend. I'm sending you so much love and light. Take care, and I will see you in the next reading.